Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. Today we will take a look at Plato's belief in reincarnation and the afterlife. And today we will be looking at two dialogues. So we're going to the source text. The two dialogues that we'll look at is the Phaedrus, which has the chariot allegory of the soul, and also the very end of Plato's Republic, where he talks about the vision or myth of air. So these are the two dialogues we're going to look at. Now, some people think that Plato was just being symbolic when he talks about reincarnation. So some people actually doubt that he believed in metempsychosis of the soul. But most scholars take Plato at his word. Plato speaking through Socrates, so that Socrates believed in reincarnation, according to Plato. Now, the first text we'll look at is the Phaedrus, where it discusses the chariot allegory of the soul. Now, what is interesting here is that Plato's chariot allegory of the soul has a charioteer with a white horse and a black horse. This is the exact image that you find on the chariot tarot card in most modern decks. So the chariot tarot card has a charioteer with a white horse and a black horse. So that's interesting. And this dialogue dates back to the 4th century BC. So have we discovered the origin, the source of the chariot card? And are we unraveling the deeper esoteric meaning of the chariot card? The chariot of the soul. So that's interesting. This dates back to the 4th century BC. So we're looking at some very ancient ideas, and these are the ideas of Plato. Now, the Phaedrus talks about the nature of love. And Plato, Socrates through Plato, describes love as a form of divine madness. And he talks about the chariot allegory of the soul. According to Plato, the chariot allegory, you have the charioteer with the white horse and the black horse, just like the tarot card, the chariot card. So that's interesting. So below in the description box, I'll give a link to the original text so that you could read this for yourself. So I will give a link to the Phaedrus so you could read the chariot allegory. Now I am reading the text. It says, Socrates says, of the nature of the soul, though her true form be ever a theme of large and more than mortal discourse, let me speak briefly and in a figure. And let the figure of the soul be composite, a pair of horses and a charioteer. It says that the soul of man has one horse that is noble and white colored, and the other horse is ignoble and a dark or black horse. It says the soul in her totality has the care of inanimate being everywhere, and traverses the whole heaven in diverse forms appearing. When perfect and fully winged, the soul soars upwards to the abode of the gods, whereas the imperfect soul, losing her wings and drooping in her flight, at last settles on the solid ground. There, finding a home, she receives an earthly frame, a physical body, and becomes a mortal creature. So he describes the horses as winged, supposed to be, and how our goal is for the soul to ascend to the realm of the gods. So our soul is to ascend upwards to heaven. But since we can't control the horses, we fall down to earth and are incarnated. So earthly life, so we reincarnate because we keep falling back down to earth. We're unable to ascend to the heavens. We rise a little and we fall back down to the earth and reincarnate. We rise a little and fall back down to earth. So the reason we have reincarnation is because we are unable to control the steeds and to ascend upwards. He says that our soul loses its wings and we fall to the earth. So we have endless reincarnation in lives until the soul can regain her wings and ascend to the realm of the gods. So Plato describes the soul as a chariot, a charioteer, and a white horse and a black horse. We lose our wings and we're incarnated into matter. The goal is to regain our wings and ascend to the heavens. It says here, the wing is the corporeal element which is most akin to the divine, and which by nature tends to soar aloft and carry that which gravitates downwards, into the upper region which is the home of the gods. The divine is beauty, wisdom, goodness, and the like, and by these the wing of the soul is nourished and grows apace. But when the soul is fed upon evil and foulness, the wings waste and fall away. The chariots of the gods and even poise, obeying the rein, glide rapidly towards the heavens. But others, their vicious steed goes heavily, weighing down the charioteer to the earth, when his steed has not been thoroughly trained. And this is the hour of agony and extremest conflict for the soul. For the immortals, when they are at the end of their course, go forth and stand at the outside of heaven. And the revolution of the planetary spheres, the planets of the solar system, carries them round, and they behold the things beyond. There abides truth, goodness, temperance, pure knowledge. Such is the life of the gods. But of other souls, that which follows God best and is likest to him, lifts the head of the charioteer, and is carried round in the revolution of the planetary spheres. Troubled by the steeds and with difficulty beholding true being. So we're trying to ascend and trying to see reality. But when we're unable to control our horses, we fall back down to the earth and we reincarnate. So we have the idea, and he talks about how those who see the most truth when they reincarnate are born as a philosopher. Those that saw the second degree of truth when they ascended are reincarnated as a wise king or warrior, etc. It says 10,000 years elapse before the soul regains its wings and ascends to its true home. So Plato says that we live many lives reincarnating before we can regain our wings and ascend to the realm of the gods. So why do we reincarnate? According to Plato, we're unable to control the horses. If we can control and master the horses, then we can ascend to the heavens. Now, what do the horses represent? The charioteer is our reason, our logic. The black horse represents our cravings and passions. The white horse represents our morals and ethics. So we have the conflict between the white horse and our black horse, our morals and our passions. Here we have Sigmund Freud's id and superego. According to Freud, the id is our cravings and passions. The superego is our morals that controls our yearnings. So the white horse are passions, the black horse are passions, the white horse are moral impulse. Guide the steed. It says that most of us are unable to control the black horse, our passions, our cravings. If we are enslaved by the passions, then we are unable to use the chariot for its true purpose to ascend. So we reincarnate until we master ourselves. We have to have self-conquest, self-mastery. We have to be in control of our mind, body, and emotions. Our mind, body, and emotions are not ourselves. They are our horses that we must control. So until we have become masters of our passions, we cannot ascend. So we are enslaved by our desires and reincarnate again and again. Plato also describes that in between lives, we are rewarded and punished. He talks about how after we die, the righteous go to the house of punishment in heaven, and the wicked are punished below the earth, and then we reincarnate. So when we die, we're rewarded and punished, heaven and hell basically. Then we reincarnate again. Then we're rewarded and punished and reincarnate. So that's what we have, the chariot of the soul. The black and white horse, the chariot tarot card. This also brings us to the vision of Ezekiel. Ezekiel's vision of the chariot is the chariot of Ezekiel's vision and the Merkaba mysticism of Judaism, where we ascend in the chariot to the heavens, the seven heavens. So Merkaba mysticism or chariot mysticism of Ezekiel's vision has some similarities to the chariot of Plato in the soul and the chariot tarot card. So that's what we have. So that is the Phaedrus in describing, so we have enlightenment in controlling our passions and the wheel of reincarnation because we have vice and ignorance. This reminds us quite a bit of the doctrine in Hinduism and Buddhism that the world is in a sense an illusion, and we have to master our passions and reach enlightenment in order to end the wheel of rebirth. That is the Phaedrus and the chariot allegory of the soul, and also looks quite a bit like the chariot tarot card. Have we discovered the origin, the source of the chariot card? And is this the deeper esoteric meaning? Is this the Merkaba, the chariot of Ezekiel's vision, through which the mystic ascends to the realm of the divine, through the seven heavens? Is this the chariot allegory of the soul of Plato? So now we move on to the vision of air. The vision of air completes Plato's Republic. In Plato's Republic, he talks about the ideal city-state and government, and the role of justice. And at the end of Plato's Republic, Book 10, he talks about the reward of the righteous and punishment of the wicked, and then reincarnation. And in a previous video, I talked about the dream of Scipio. Cicero in the 1st century BC wrote his De Republica, a political dialogue, and ended it with the dream of Scipio, which is an off-take of Plato's Republic. Now, in the dream of, So, what we have here, in the vision of air, Plato tells a story that Er, he was a warrior. He was wounded in battle and he died. 10 days later, Er's body was not decomposed, and he woke up on the 12th day on the funeral pyre. He came back to life and he told people what he saw about the underworld. Er tells the story, according to Plato and Socrates, that they went, in the chariot allegory, the white horse or moral impulse was on the right hand, and the negative cravings is the left hand. So right hand good, left hand bad. The white horse is on the right, the black horse on the left. So you have right hand and left hand, good, bad. Interesting. Now, Er tells the story that the souls go to judgment. And there are 2 holes in heaven on the right where the righteous are rewarded in heaven on the right hand. And the wicked are punished below the earth on the left hand. So again, right and left. Interesting. So in Plato's Republic, the souls of the righteous are judged and go to heaven for 1,000 years of reward. The wicked are punished in hell for 1,000 years on the left hand. Then, after they've been rewarded and punished for 1,000 years, the soul chooses its next life. It tells that they go to a great column of light, which is a rainbow of light, this column, which holds the cosmos together. And the planets and stars revolve around it. And the fates, klotholakesis and atropos, the fates, personifications of destiny, control the whirl of the planets and destiny. And we choose our next life. And it tells how these divine beings are speaking a tone of creation, weaving the web of life. And according to Plato, we choose our next life. So although destiny and fate is set in stone, we all have our own fate and destiny. But we could still choose to live that destiny righteously or wickedly, in which we'll be punished and rewarded. And even though we are destined and fated, we have control, because according to Plato, we choose our next life. They cast lots and people choose the next life. Some people are reincarnated as animals, some people as humans. And then they drink the waters of lethe, forgetfulness, and then they are incarnated in their next life. And that is Plato's doctrine of reincarnation, found in the Phaedrus, the chariot allegory of the soul, and the vision of Er at the end of Plato's Republic. Punishment and reward, heaven and hell, then you reincarnate. So that's interesting. And this is 4th century BC. It predates Christianity and a lot of our modern religions. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Once again, this is Taliesin McKnight. And take it easy, y'all.